Hi everybody, John Roussel here. I was having a great conversation with my friend Kim Fulton the other day, and we got onto a topic of the Fed. And I wanted to do this video today in order to explain what the current administration is attempting to do. Everybody sees the Twitter battles and everything that's going on with Donald Trump going after the Fed, the Fed, the Fed, the Fed. Okay? That is because he's working on a plan to try and get rid of the Fed in total. After this video, I hope that you're going to understand why we're attempting to get rid of the Federal Reserve. First, the Federal Reserve Bank, also called the Fed, okay? Everybody needs to understand it's a privately owned bank. If you wanted to create a bank and make it seem like it was part of the federal government, I believe that you too would name it the Federal Reserve Bank, okay? It was started by some of the most powerful families on the planet. It's still held by privately owned stocks. Welcome. The Federal Reserve Bank was created in 1913 under the Federal Reserve Act by the most powerful bankers at the time in the United States. Concurrently and amazingly, 6 months later, after that, the 16th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which is probably always hanging on my wall if anybody ever wants to come and see it, was ratified by the members of Congress. And what did the 16th Amendment do? It allowed the levying of income taxes from you and I. Now, I want you to wrap your mind around this. How did we run the government from 1776 until 1913 without the need to collect income taxes from you and from me? Think about that, guys. Income taxes. We became a country in 1776. Income taxes did not exist until 1913. So how'd they run the government? Well, this video is going to show you how. So right now, the privately held Federal Reserve Bank actually has control of the United States Mint. The United States Mint's responsibility is to print the Federal Reserve notes. Please stop calling them US dollars. Look in your wallet right now and grab it and look at the top. Do not call this a $5 bill. This is a $5 Federal Reserve note, not a $5 bill. Very important distinction that we're going to learn a little further in this video. So under the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, the Federal Reserve Bank, the Fed, the privately held Fed, was given control of the U.S. Mint and all of the United States currency. The United States currency is not currently under the control of the U.S. Treasury Department, which is why it does not say United States of America, Department of Treasury, anything like that. It says Federal Reserve Note. Look carefully. So, this is the way our system currently works and why they need income taxes. The Federal Reserve, the Fed, controls the U.S. Mint and orders them to print Federal Reserve notes and lend them to the banking institutions in the United States based on what's called the overnight Fed funds rate. The banks then turn around and take that money that they were given by the Fed and lend it to you and I to buy cars, to buy houses, to use credit cards, all things of that nature, okay? Now, the federal funds rate, which is what Donald Trump actually just got him cut to zero, and I think you are hearing that he wants negative interest rates. This is going to become really important here in a minute. So the U.S. banks then lend the money to you. You know, typical car loans, 6%, house loans, 4%. Well, keep in mind, a percentage of that money is being paid back to the Federal Reserve Bank, the privately held bank. That does not go to the United States Department of Treasury, okay? Now, the Federal Reserve Bank, also by having control over the U.S. Mint, lends money to the government itself. Okay? That's where the government gets their money to run. The government then issues bonds. Okay? The bonds are backed by the 16th Amendment, their ability to collect your income taxes. That's what pays the interest back to the Federal Reserve. So I need you to understand that a good percentage of the income taxes that you pay are actually going back to a privately held bank by some of the wealthiest families on the country. This is why Donald Trump and the current administration badly wants to erase the Federal Reserve and why he's in a Twitter battle with them, hammering on them to get money from them to drop their interest rates because he's trying to empty their coffers and have the U.S. Department of Treasury take back control of the United States Mint. Now, what does that mean to you? Okay? So look, no Fed. Let's say the Fed's gone tomorrow. Now the United States Treasury issues money directly to the U.S. banks. Okay? They then in turn give you a mortgage loan, let's say at 4%. 2% of that interest goes so that the banks can run and pay their employees and all of that. 2% goes directly back to the government, okay? They then use that money to run the government. Now what just fell from the equation, people? The need for income taxes, because your interest payments are directly going back to the government and not to the privately held Federal Reserve Bank. Welcome to the administration's current plan. Welcome to the Twitter battle on why Donald Trump keeps hammering on the Federal Reserve Bank, and welcome to how dirty the system has been since 1913. I hope you find this educational. If you need any clarification on this video, please comment on the link below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody has. This I've been studying since about 1991, so I read a lot of books and I have a lot more information than I can quickly do in this video. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your quarantine.